Thank you.
Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness unto light. Lead us from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Namaste and good evening, everybody. I offer my pranams to Revered Swami Satyamanji Maharaj, my namaskars to the other monastics present here, and greetings to all of you. I'm profoundly grateful to Revered Satyamanandaji for inviting me here to the Vedanta Society here in Seattle, and for arranging this talk and for the retreat tomorrow. And he has, I've known him for about 30 years now, ever since my joining the order, and he has been like an elder brother and a friend, very affectionate and guiding me, very kind to me. And one sign of his kindness was his freedom to speak whatever you want to speak about. Now, if you give me freedom, I'll go straight to my favorite book, which is the Ashtavakra Gita. And I was thinking that, yes, then I can speak about it. I have chosen one verse. See, the Ashtavakra Gita is a unique book. It's a classic of Advaita Vedanta, of non-dual Vedanta, which is unique in this way. Vedanta is based on the Upanishads. In fact, the definition of Vedanta, which we memorized as brahmacharis, Vedanta Nama Upanishad Pramanam, the source of spiritual knowledge called the Upanishads, is Vedanta. Now, on that, a vast edifice of texts stands. There is the very well-known Bhagavad Gita, which is a standard book of Vedanta. Then there is the Brahma Sutras. But on this triad, you have so many books, so many schools of Vedanta. But here we are primarily interested in the Advaita Vedanta, the non-dual Vedanta. And there are many, it's a huge textual tradition. Ashtavakra Gita is a category of text. There are a few books like that. Ashtavakra, which is the most famous of this category. There is the Avadhuta Gita, the Ribhu Gita, which was very dear to Ramana Maharshi. This Ashtavakra Gita is unique. There is, Sri Ramakrishna, when he made Swami Vivekananda interested in Advaita Vedanta, Vivekananda was at first not interested in Advaita Vedanta. He subscribed to the monotheistic version of Hinduism preached by the Brahmo Samaj, but that you are that limitless being, and there is that one limitless Brahman is everything in this universe, all of that did not appeal to him. And he would say that I have the sages gone crazy when they're talking about even this pot is God and the door and the box is God and so on and so forth. Sri Ramakrishna, what he did was he would have a copy of the Ashtavakra Gita in his room. Among the very few books which he had in his room was a copy of the Ashtavakra Gita. It was very dear to him. And he would ask Swami Vivekananda to read from it. Vivekananda, Narendranath Datta at that time, refused. He would refuse to proceed, but then Sri Ramakrishna would say, all right, it's not for you, just read it for my sake. But that's how skillful teacher, he knew the nature of Vivekananda. And often the guru knows our spiritual nature more than us. Right now we may have a fancy for a particular path or for a particular book or particular tradition, but the guru sees through that and sees something deeper which has not yet awakened within us. And so Sri Ramakrishna impelled Vivekananda, inspired, impelled, instigated, you might say, and made him read the Ashtavakra Gita. And later you would find when the same Vivekananda in this country, when he came and taught in the United States, many times you would find him quoting from the Ashtavakra Gita. It's as if he's speaking himself, but if you look at what he's saying, is a very fresh take on the Ashtavakra Gita, basically. Why is it so special? What's special about it? Byram, who is made a beautiful translation, not the poet Byron, Byram with an M, not an N. He was also a man of English literature, professor. He made a translation of the Ashtavakra Gita called The Heart of Awareness, which I like. I use two translations. One is made by Swami Sarvapriyananda ji, which is a book published by our order. He was a Swami of our order, which is precise. The Sanskrit is precise. I mean, Sanskrit to English translation is precise. And Byram's translation is one of the few available translations in English where he captures the spirit of it. So it's poetic. He captures the spirit of it. The book is called The Heart of Awareness. And it has a beautiful introduction by the translator. He says there that when all the philosophers and the sages and the prophets have fallen silent, Ashtavakra begins. When all books of philosophy, all the scriptures have finished, have had their say, and they fall silent, Ashtavakra begins there. And he says the words are so luminous as if they appear in letters of light, and they, as soon as they appear, they seem to disappear, dissolve back into that one white light from which they have come. And so poetically, I mean, ecstatically writes about Ashtavakra. And the book deserves every bit of it. The book is incredible. The book is in Sanskrit, but very simple Sanskrit. Not the complicated Sanskrit, ornate Sanskrit which you find in some other later texts, post-Upanishadic, post-Gita texts. Difficult Sanskrit. Sanskrit can be very difficult. This is very simple Sanskrit. It's not in the language. Ashtavakra, there are no arguments. Strangely enough, for Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta, it seems to be a hyper-intellectual path. But Ashtavakra has no arguments to offer. Ashtavakra does not tell any stories. There are cute stories in the Upanishads. The Bhagavad Gita is put in the middle of the greatest story ever told in human civilization across the world, in all of time and space, Mahabharata, the most tremendous epic that exists for humanity. Ashtavakra and Kathopanishad, the cute story of the little boy Yama, the Nachiketa and the Lord of Death Yama. So there are stories and stories in the Upanishads and across the Vedantic tradition. Ashtavakra doesn't tell any story. He does not have poetry to offer. He does not have arguments to offer. He does not have stories to offer. Then what does he have to offer? He does not have ornate language, beautiful Sanskrit to offer. What does he have to offer? One and one thing alone. Somebody called it a grand monotony. One and one thing alone. The highest truth, the final truth, the last thing which can be said, beyond which is just silence and luminosity. So that truth, again and again and again, across 20 chapters, maybe 300 or so verses, it's about half the size, little more than half the size of the Bhagavad Gita, less than half the size of the Bhagavad Gita actually. Only one thing. There's really no development of thought as such. You can find it if you look for it, but you see from the very beginning he's saying the same thing. So Ashtavakra Gita is like an ocean, and the ocean metaphor, for example, comes up many times in the Ashtavakra Gita. It's like wherever you taste the water of the ocean, it's the same salty water. Wherever you pick up a verse from the Ashtavakra Gita, it's the final truth, the ultimate truth, and complete truth. There's nothing more to be said. Just one verse will suffice, and I hope to demonstrate it this evening. So without further advertisement, I don't think Ashtavakra needs any advertisement. Let's jump right in, and it's going to be a ride, an exhilarating ride. The greatest ride in human thought, in the human quest for our ultimate nature, for enlightenment, for self-realization, for God realization. The part of it is the nature of Advaita Vedanta itself. In Advaita Vedanta, this quest, this journey, it's not a journey in time or space or from one object to another. What do I mean by that? There can be one kind of spiritual journey which says, yes, there is an ultimate reality, God, Brahman, Atman, but it's not here. It's in heaven. It's in Vaikuntha. It's in the Buddha land. This is the world. This is samsara. So when you go from here to there, a journey in space, it could be spiritual space. It sounds like a journey in space. This is not spiritual, that is spiritual. You have to go from here to there. It's a journey in space. Vedanta is not like that. It could be a journey in time. That not now, but after death. I saw this big poster in a billboard. After death, you will meet God. Little ominous. We were driving past, you could see, after death, you will meet God. And below that was written, call 1-800 so-and-so. So that before death, you can get a little glimpse of God. And that may be true, and I'm sure it is true. But Advaita Vedanta is not that. It's not a journey in time, not after death, not after the coming of the Messiah, not after the coming of the millennium, not after Kali Yoga, Satya Yoga will start after Kali Yoga, not even after Samadhi, not even after some kind of ecstatic experience, no after. It is not even some reality apart from yourself. There is some other thing called Atman, Brahman, God. That thing is spiritual. That's what you must go. From yourself to there, to that thing. It's not a journey from one thing to another. It's not a journey from one place to another. It's not a journey across time from from now to then. What Advaita Vedanta is talking about is everywhere, all the time, and everything. And being everywhere and all the time and everything, it must be here and now and you yourself. That's the beauty of Advaita Vedanta. It's talking about you. It's talking about now. It's talking about here. The problem of talking about now, here, and that everything is Brahman is you can say, show me. You can't say, show me to that big billboard because it says after death, they are safe. Show me God. No, you have to wait. Wait in time. Or God is in heaven and all's right with the world. A poet, I think Robert Browning, who was saying, God's in heaven and all's right with the world. Well, show me God. You can't. It's in heaven. You have to go to heaven. So you have to go there. But if you say it's right here, right now, and indeed, it's me. It is I. There hangs a little story also. Silly joke, but I can't resist it. In the pearly gate, knock, knock, and St. Peter says, who's there? It is I. And St. Peter says, oh no, another English teacher. Not it's me, it is I. So if it is I, and here and now, you can ask. We can ask the Advaita teacher. You can ask Advaita Vedanta. We can ask Ashtavakra, show me. And Ashtavakra rises to the challenge. He says, I'll show you. Right here, right now. You can take it seriously, listen carefully. And even if we do not walk out of here enlightened, at least we'll get clarity about what Advaita Vedanta is saying. And that's a great thing to take away from the talk. It's an incredible thing to take away. One of the vows we take as monks when we become monks, one of the vows is Brihad Vadeva. From now on, let us talk of vast things. Let us talk of the infinite. Let us not talk about petty things. Let us not talk about the finite. Let us not talk about the worldly things. Let's talk about the spirit. Let's talk about ultimate things now. So this evening, we're going to talk about ultimate things. We're going to talk about the vast, the infinite. Nothing small, nothing petty, We are going to walk with Ashtavakra. We are going to walk into the light. Once you walk through these gates, there's no walking back. There are no backseas in Advaita Vedanta. Once you see, you cannot unsee. So it is the last chance to leave. We are going to take off. You have boarded, but now you can't get off the plane. Yes. So this is the last chance. Why I'm using the plane metaphor is because we went to see the Boeing, the factory today, the plant today. Yes. Vast. Talk about vast. It's the largest structure made by human beings in the world. The plant, assembly plant there. Ashtavakra would be inspired. And it's about aeroplanes also. So, yeah, I love aeroplanes. When I joined the order and became a monk, Swami Suhitanandaji, he was the head of our monastery there, where I became a monk 30 years ago. And when he learned that I liked aeroplanes, see, his take on everything was spiritual. He said, that's good. That means you look up at the sky. Yeah, it's a good sign. Vivekananda, in America, they used to call him the sky pilot because he never looked below this. His eyes were always there. Luckily, he didn't stumble. He never looked down. He couldn't. Somehow, he would always look there. One verse which I have selected is the 12th verse of the first chapter. If you go through the Ashtavakra Gita, you will find many similar verses. It's not, but this verse is particularly beautiful. Chapter 1, verse 12. How does it go? Atma sakshi vibhu purna eka mukta chidakriyaha asango nispriha shanto Brahmat samsaravaniva. What does it mean? Atma, the self. Sakshi, it is the witness. Vibhu, it is all. It is the vast. It's everything. Purnam, it is complete. It is whole. It is infinite. Ekaha, it is one. Muktaha, it is ever free. Chit, consciousness. Mark this word. It is consciousness. Akriyaha, beyond all transaction, beyond all action and change. Asanga, unattached. Nispriyaha, free of all lack, free of all hankering. Shanta, it is beyond all suffering, change. It is peace, the peace that passeth understanding. So that it is the peace which is beyond all suffering, beyond all turmoil, beyond all samsara. Brahmat samsaravaniva. But we feel that we are in samsara. It is error. It is because of an error, because of ignorance, because of not knowing our real nature, that we feel we are in samsara, we are in trouble, we are this little creature who is being tossed up and down in the ocean of samsara because of ignorance. This because of an error. Error, Brahma means error. Funny story. I remember this monk I met in the Himalayas. And we were sitting for food. There's a place where they serve monks with food. And we exchanged pleasantries, introductions. Who are you? Which order do you belong to? Where do you come from? So I said, I'm Sarvapriyananda. I'm from the Ramakrishna mission. And this other monk was sitting there, a traditional wandering monk. I said, Aapka naam, what's your name? Brahmdev. Brahmadev, Swami Brahmadev. I said, you mean Brahmadev? Because Brahmadev means the Lord of error. The Lord of mistakes. It's a mispronunciation of Brahma. Brahma means the vast. The Lord who is the vast, the infinite. But if you mispronounce it just a little bit, then Brahma becomes Brahma. Brahmadev. I said, Brahmadev, na? You mean Brahmadev, right? He said, wahi, Brahmadev. That's the same thing. He didn't distinguish between the pronunciation of this and that. So, Brahmat samsaravaniva, because of an error, a deadly error. In computer, when it crashes, fatal error. Because of fatal error, we are in samsara. Why does error come from? All error comes from ignorance. All error comes from ignorance. So now let us dive into this. Atma Sakshi Vibhu Purnaha Eka Mukta Chidakriyaha Asango Nispriya Shanto Brahmat Samsara Vaniva. What a beautiful verse. I don't know how Byram must have translated it, but it's beautiful. The self, you are the witness, you are all, you are complete, infinite, you are one, you are, so like this, Atma, this pure consciousness, beyond transaction, free, unattached to anything, free of all hankering, of all lack, and free of suffering, peaceful, ever peaceful. Only in ignorance, in error born of ignorance, do we seem to be in samsara right now. It seems incredible. How is that possible? And it says that it's there right now. Not that after enlightenment you will become all this. You are all of this right now. You just don't see it. And Ashtavakra says, our challenge would be to Ashtavakra, okay, smart guy, show me. Show me. I'll show you. Right now? Yes, right now. Give me 30 minutes. And you walk out of here and say, oh, I see. Okay. There is a way of navigating this verse. There is a way of doing it. So the ride starts from here. Buckle up. Stay with me. It's a heady ride and it can leave you a little dizzy afterwards. So good to have warnings. Caution. Buyer beware. One reaction to this is, wow, I get it. If you say, I don't get it, you are safe. If you get it, you are in trouble. What kind of trouble? It's good to know these things from the beginning. Wow, I get it. This is real spirituality. This is what the truth is. Nothing compares to it. And so I gave up my meditation, my prayer, my spiritual practices. You're asking for serious trouble. Never give up your spiritual practices. Also, a superiority complex. Now I know. You others don't know. You are in the kindergarten of spirituality. This is the PhD level, the University of Washington. This is the PhD level of spirituality. Never. That's also the intellect playing its own games. Then the desire to go around propagating this, teaching. If you're invited, like me, you can speak about it. If you're not, if people don't ask for it, don't tell them. There's people who are enthusiasts. And sometimes one dangerous breed of enthusiasts is moms. They will immediately impose it on their kids. Don't do that. So these are some warnings. I remember a Tibetan Buddhist monk, he said, you and your guru are one and the same reality. There is no doubt about it. Never forget to show respect to your guru. What is there with eyes open is also there with eyes closed. But never, so with eyes closed, what you find? With eyes open also it's the same reality. But never neglect your meditation. What is there in the city is also there. What is there in the forest is also there in the city. No doubt about it. But never lose a chance to go to a retreat. So, never give up the spiritual, the structure of spiritual life. Anyway, these are warnings. So you are all mature. It's a dangerous thing to give to an immature mind. It can ruin your spiritual life and it can cause immeasurable harm to others also. Every powerful thing is dangerous. And none as powerful and as dangerous as Advaita Vedanta. Misunderstood. An analogous verse I remember from the Mula Madhyamaka Karika of Nagarjuna, the root verses on the middle way of Nagarjuna, nearly 2000 years ago. In his particular formulation of the non-dual truth, it is emptiness, shunyata. He says, emptiness is the antidote to all other suffering, all other misconceptions. But those who take emptiness itself to be the ultimate reality, for them there is no rescue. It is like a snake grasped in the wrong way. It's going to bite you. So similarly, Advaita, careful. All right, with all these warnings, let us start the ride. Buckle in. Chid akriya, chid. We will focus on this word. Atma sakshi vibhu purna ekas mukta chid akriya. Chid, consciousness. Let's start there. We are all conscious. Who denies it? Nobody has raised their hand yet. By conscious, I mean, I'm aware, I'm conscious. Right now, I'm conscious. I am experiencing all of this and I'm having feelings. I am a conscious being. Nobody denies this. Vedanta just says we usually think of ourselves as bodies with consciousness. Vedanta wants us to reverse it as a first step, as a first entry into Vedanta, consciousness with a body. So start by focusing on consciousness. Take your stand on consciousness. Let's focus, narrow down on awareness itself, consciousness itself. I'm using the terms interchangeably. There is no clear word in English for something which has many words in Sanskrit. Chit is one word, Ashtavakra uses. Chit, pure consciousness. Chit, Chaitanya, Bodha, Bodh, Samvit. So many words are there. Chiti. So many words are there. Prakasha. So, chit, consciousness. What about consciousness? As Maharaj said in his beautiful introduction, this is a good time to be alive if you are interested in consciousness studies. Consciousness studies has become a very respectful and a hot field of investigation in the last 20 years or so, 20 to 25 years. People are seriously interested in what is consciousness and trying to understand and explain it in terms of modern scientific understanding and a modern paradigm. Just to give you dimensions of this present study, what the field looks like right now, you can look it up online, search for 325 theories of consciousness. Robert Lawrence Kuhn, who runs this podcast, Closer to Truth. So he's been interested in this for many years. He has interviewed experts, philosophers, theologians, monks. He interviewed me also, scientists, physicists, computer scientists, AI people. And he wrote this, what he learned over decades of exploration. He wrote this encyclopedic article. It's a PDF. It's like basically a booklet. It's called The Landscape of Consciousness, where he just outlines all the theories of consciousness which are floating around right now, trying to understand what consciousness is. And you know how many theories there are? 325 at last count. 325 theories of consciousness. Google it. There's a long 2 or 3 hour interview with Robert Lawrence Kuhn on YouTube. And the name of that is 325 theories of consciousness, 325 plus theories of consciousness. Is that too many? He says, no, we need one more, the correct one. He says a sign of advancement in science is that when you narrow down multiple ideas into one theory which is workable, acceptable, which becomes the ruling paradigm. It may be rejected later on, but for some time at least that becomes the theory. If you have 325 theories, which means we don't understand it at all. It's not a mature perspective. Yes?
No, we won't.
Yes. So we don't have a mature theory of consciousness yet. 325 theories. Recently I had a wonderful experience. By the way, if you see that interview, one more thing I want to tell you about the interview before we go deeper into this. He says all of this, it starts with India. and in the Upanishads. And he says, it is with Advaita Vedanta, where you have, this is the source of all our speculations, our theories of consciousness. It starts there. And he gives a broad picture of how these theories have come. The Vedantic theories, Buddhist, Jaina theories, the ancient Indian theories, then the dualistic theories, materialistic theories, and now he says we are beginning to circle back to those ancient theories. Anyway, so it's an interview worth listening to, very interesting. I recently had an interesting experience myself. I was in Venice in a conference, a private conference on, it was called Towards a New Theory of Consciousness, one more. And they had some extraordinary people, some of the most brilliant scientists, philosophers, computer scientists from across the world. One of the most renowned neuroscientists in the world, Christoph Koch from Seattle. The head of Google's AI research, Blaze from Seattle. Then there was the head of Google's quantum computing, Hartmut from Seattle. And there were people like David Chalmers, who coined the phrase hard problem of consciousness. So brilliant gathering of people, and I was the token monk there. And it was all organized by a very interesting person. If you Google him, the philosopher billionaire, his name is Berggruen. There was an NYT, New York Times article about him. He's also very interested in consciousness studies, so he organized this kind of a conference. And I was interested to see how many of them were from Seattle itself, of those people investigating consciousness. Incredible. What is Ashtavakra's theory of consciousness? What does he say? And what he's going to say is not speculative. He's going to point to something which is available to us right now, right here. Remember, there was the promise. I'll show you something which is right now, right here. This is the way you listen now. From now on, keep noticing. At least to some level, it will seem like, yeah, you'll keep saying, yes, it's true. I never thought of it that way. You can put it that way. I never noticed it, but it's true. At some level, it will seem a little mystifying and maybe seem speculative, metaphysical, but I assure you it is not. The incredible thing about Ashtavakra is, the incredible thing about Advaita Vedanta, but Ashtavakra especially, is nothing he says in those 300 verses in that book is outside our experience right now. We just don't see it. And he's endeavoring to show us. Let us see. So as I said, there is a way in which we have to navigate this verse. So stay with this. Start with consciousness. What do I have to know about consciousness? He says, notice that consciousness, where are you conscious? I'm seeing now, I'm conscious. Well, notice seeing. Whatever you're seeing, you're conscious. If you're seeing the orange color, you're conscious. If you're seeing the pink color there, you're conscious. You're seeing the brown or the white here, you're conscious. Colors are different, shapes are different. What we see is very different. Lots and lots of, we see thousands of shapes and colors and things, living beings, non-living beings. But in all of this seeing, we are conscious. And the consciousness, let me give you one example and then I'll stretch it infinitely wide. This orange and this white, the experience of this orange color is different from the white color. We are agreed on that. And this paper is different, a different object from this cloth. We are agreed on that. And the experience of seeing orange and the experience of seeing white is also different from each other. But I am going to put to you a simple, very intuitive, easily acceptable proposition, that the consciousness by itself which experience this orange color and this white color is the same consciousness. That awareness, that consciousness which just had the experience of orange, now is having the experience of white. It's the same awareness. The color changed, time changed, tick, tick, tick. But the awareness is the same by itself. It is the same awareness which had the experience of different colors and shapes. See, that seems pretty simple. Yes. And it is the same awareness which has the experience of sound, of listening to voice and music. Little while ago you were hearing the beautiful music. Same awareness. Listen, the experience of seeing is so different from the experience of hearing. And yet the claim is it is the same awareness, the same consciousness which is seeing, which is also hearing. Giving you the experience, the conscious experience of seeing, the conscious experience of hearing, same consciousness. Although the experiences are very different. And why are they different? For obvious reasons, because the objects are very different. The objects of experience, color, shape, sound, music, they are all very different, and therefore you have a variety of experiences. But the crucial insight is the one consciousness. It is to that one consciousness that there is seeing and there is hearing and smelling and tasting and touching, all of our sensory modalities. They all appear and are experienced and are changing and are disappearing to that one consciousness, in the light of that one consciousness. No. See, the way to understand this is actually to see it. Notice, this is one experience. That is another experience. The two experiences are different. But it is to the same consciousness that this appeared, and this is also appearing to the same consciousness, the same awareness. Is that not true? It's as simple. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't overthink it. Just see it, notice it, and say, yeah, okay. So, it is the same consciousness which lights up all our tremendously rich variety of sensory experiences. And it lights our internal experiences, our thoughts, our memories, our desires, our pleasures and pains, our impulses, our ideas, even the sense of ego, the entire internal, what is called the antakarana, mind, the intellect, the memory, the emotions, all of this tremendous internal activity, that's also lit up by that same awareness, which lights up all our sensory experiences. And further, all our actions, walking, talking, grasping, driving, playing, working, all of it is, these are all conscious experiences. Which consciousness? The same consciousness. So now you put it all together. All our sensory experiences, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, same consciousness. All our internal mental experiences of thinking, remembering, desiring, hating, enjoying, suffering, understanding, remembering, all of these are all lit up by that same consciousness. And our activities, physical activities in the world, all lit up by the same consciousness. So it is one consciousness which lights up all our waking, all our dreaming, and even the claim will be in deep sleep, one consciousness. Which one? The one which you say, I am conscious now? When we say I am conscious, it's not theoretical. I remember once I gave a similar talk in Calcutta, and after that in the Q&A, there was one lady who was quite indignant, I could see throughout the talk, and she rushed up to the Q&A to ask the first question. Said, Swami, all this is good, it's all theoretical. I said, Madam, not one thing that I have said here is theoretical. It's not theory. Don't distance it from yourself by saying this is theory. Do you not admit that you are conscious right now? And it is that very consciousness which you admit to, which we are talking about now. It is that consciousness which enables you to have all sensory experiences, all motor actions, and all internal, mental, inner, subjective first-person experiences, all of that, all our waking, all our dreaming, or even the deep sleep, that's the claim. There will be times when I will not give you the arguments because there's no time to give arguments. This verse itself, I was calculating to, if we took it slowly and carefully, methodically, it would have taken 3 classes, 3 hours to explain this one verse. And I'll try to do it in the next 20 minutes. So sometimes I will glide over the arguments because one might lose the forest for seeing the tree, the big picture for. So this one consciousness, the light which lights up our lives. Upanishads use poetic language for it. That shining, everything else shines. By its light, everything here is lit up. Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. That light. In the Gita, Sri Krishna uses beautiful language. Jyotisham apitad jyoti tamasah paramuchyate. It is the light of lights, forever beyond darkness. Jnanam geyam jnanagamyam hridhi sarvasya dishtitam. It is knowledge, it is attained by knowledge, and it is that which is knowable, always shining in the hearts of all beings. Beautiful poetry. What does it mean? That consciousness, which you all admitted to, we all admitted to being conscious, that he says is shining in the hearts of all beings. When I gave this verse, so there was, in that conference which I mentioned, there was one of the most noticed scientists of our world today, quantum theorist. Have you heard of Carlo Rovelli? Yeah. So he was there. And I told him this verse. We are walking in a garden of a 12th century Italian monastery. It had been opened up just for all these people who had come from all over the world, this group. We are walking in there. And he came, we just met. I remember telling him this verse. He was so excited. He said, we must write a paper on quantum theory, and there was this Google AI guy right in front of us. AI and Advaita Vedanta. I won't believe it, it's already written. I won't tell you anymore, it's going to be published very soon in a leading journal. Not me. I just provided just the seeds of Advaitic ideas. The work was done all by the big brains. So this verse, it is the light of lights. All sounds amazing. What is the light of lights? It's that very consciousness which we are all experiencing right now. Nothing outside our experience. It's only thing that Ashtavakra says is, this consciousness is that which makes all experience possible. What experience? The experience of life. Tomorrow, if you see God, it will be this very consciousness. What else will see God? This, all of what I said in the last 10 minutes or so, Ashtavakra uses a name, a word, Sakshi. Atma Sakshi Vibhu Purna Eka Mukta Chidakriyaha. Chit, pure consciousness, is the Sakshi, is the illuminer of all our experiences. Sensory experiences, motor experiences, internal first-person mental experiences. All of that is lit up by consciousness. The word is used is Sakshi. And this Sakshi, one witness consciousness. Now when you speak like that, what is consciousness? It is the light of lights. It is that which lights up all our experiences. When you speak like that, one subtle feeling will be left, yes, okay, so there is this consciousness, it is the Sakshi which lights up all experiences here. But then there are so many like me here. So how many sakshis are there? How many consciousnesses are there? The early quantum theorists were all Vedantins. Schrödinger, Heisenberg, Oppenheimer. I heard recently that our Swami in San Francisco, Vedanandaji, he worked with Oppenheimer. He even still he calls him Opie. He is a scientist in the not in the Manhattan Project, but just after that. Yeah. So one of them, I think it was Schrödinger, who said consciousness is that singular of which there is no plural. So is there, how many consciousnesses are there? How many sakshis, witness consciousnesses are there? Ashtavakra says, ekaha, one. Counterintuitive, because we feel we are all different from each other, so there must be different consciousness in each one of us. He says, no. We seem to be different. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, avibhaktam cha bhuteshu vibhaktam eva cha sthitam. Undivided in all sentient beings, I appear as if divided. We are one consciousness. I appear as if I am 7 billion people and billions of other living beings also. All of it. Actually, we are one consciousness. Argue for that? There are huge arguments, centuries, millennia old arguments from different schools which fought intellectual gladiatorial combat across the centuries. So the Sankhyans and the Advaitins, they would argue at this point. I will not go into the arguments here. They're not very difficult. If anybody is interested, later on we'll look at that. But basically he shows the essence of all those arguments will be anything that you show to be a difference in consciousness, the Advaitin will show it's a difference in the mind or the senses or the body. It can explain the so-called differences in consciousness. So not many, it is ekaha, one consciousness shining through all minds and bodies, all minds, sensory systems and bodies. I can't resist. Let me give you one argument. Okay, a couple of arguments. The Sankhyan says, no, we can't all be one consciousness. And then the birth of one would be the birth of all, the death of all would be, death of one would be the death of all. The one person is dead, then everybody would die if you are all one consciousness. That's ridiculous. That doesn't happen. And the Advaitin answers, that's an easy one to answer. Birth and death are birth and death of the body, not of consciousness. So one body may be born and consciousness shines there as this person who's born. At that time another may be dying and consciousness shines there as that body is dying and experiences a dying body there. It could be one consciousness. And then a more subtle argument. But if we are one consciousness, then we would experience everybody's minds. That I am experiencing the contents of this mind. But if we are all one consciousness, I would experience the contents of all minds. It's put in this way, that if we are all one consciousness, then if one is awake, everyone would be awake. If one falls asleep, everyone would fall asleep. If one is enlightened, everyone will be enlightened. If one is ignorant, everyone will become ignorant, because it's one consciousness. And the answer is no, not at all. Not at all. If the waking and dreaming and sleeping, these are functions of the mind, not of consciousness. One mind could be alert, the other could be dreaming, other could be in deep sleep, and the consciousness would illumine the alert mind here and feel, I am alert, listening, I am daydreaming, I am nothing, blank, deep sleep. Consciousness could be one in all of them. These distinctions are distinctions of the mind. One could be, and that's good, because in Vedanta classes, somebody or the other is always sleeping. If one falls asleep and everybody will fall asleep, then we would be in trouble. Oh no, it's not possible. If we are all one consciousness, well, my guru is illumined, then I will become illumined. And unfortunately, that doesn't happen. Well, no. This illumination and ignorance enlightenment and ignorance are in the mind, not in Atman, Brahman, pure consciousness. So pure consciousness could be one in all bodies and minds, and yet it might appear in function, in functionality to be different, to be interacting with each other. We could all be one consciousness. And Krishna says it with great emphasis in the Bhagavad Gita. Kshetragyam chapimam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata. One of the most tremendous statements in the entire Bhagavad Gita. O Arjuna, in all these fields, he calls these bodies and minds, he calls them fields. In all these fields, know me to be the one knower of the field. We feel that if this is a field, then I am the field knower here. That's the field, and there's another field knower there. And there are thousands and millions and billions of field knowers in each field. He says counterintuitively that there is only one field knower in all fields. Ekaha. We are one consciousness, appearing to be many. Okay. What are we doing here? We are all exploring consciousness. Ashtavakra's theory of consciousness. We have already found two tremendous discoveries we have made. One is consciousness is Sakshi. It is the one light which illumines, which gives us all our experiences, and nobody can doubt that. All that you consider experience, sensory experience, mental experience, emotional experience, intellectual experience, aesthetic experience, pleasure, pain, life itself, which we all think, this all made possible by consciousness. The first person experience, this is what the people are finding so difficult to explain about consciousness. This light of lights, this is first discovery. This is one thing we have come across. And then another tremendous discovery. At that level, we are not many, we are one. Ekaha. Okay. Now, this one consciousness, which is ever shining, objects are changing, our mental, our sensory experiences are changing, the awareness is ever the same. It's one, not only one consciousness in all our experiences, it is unchanging. It is unchanging. Consciousness does not change. Big claim. You might say, no, how do you know? Isn't it that consciousness changes? I'm alert in the morning after a cup of coffee, very alert, and then I'm not so alert, and then I fall asleep. But we just said all that is the mind, not consciousness. Consciousness has distinguished from the mind. At this point, one might ask for how do you distinguish consciousness from the mind? How do you distinguish consciousness from anything else? And the answer is pretty simple, elegant in Advaita Vedanta. Whatever is an object is not consciousness. Whatever is presented to you, whatever can be experienced or labeled as this is not consciousness. That to which this appears is consciousness. So this table, is it consciousness? No, because it's this table. This body which is touching the table, is this consciousness? No, because it is this body. This thought, this emotion, this idea, is it consciousness? No, because it is this thought, this emotion, this idea. Whatever you can experience is an object. And that which is experiencing is consciousness. This is only first step, and we will abandon this little later. But now, so this consciousness is the light of lights, and it is the next big discovery we make is it is one in all beings. We are actually one consciousness. And that is what Krishna says, I am that one consciousness in all beings. So are we Krishna? That is Vedanta's great thesis. Aham Brahmasmi, I am one with Brahman. I am that one divinity in all beings. Ekaha. But the next thing we discover is consciousness does not change. How do you know that? Suppose consciousness changed. Now there are only two alternatives here. These are all supporting arguments which I am providing. Ashtavakra takes it for granted. You are all advanced students, you know all this down. So not arguments are for the lower class of seekers, best seekers. So there is a book called Vichar Sagar, written not long ago, 200 years ago or so, 250 years ago, Nishchal Dasji. So there, 3 students go to the teacher. Actually, there are 3 princes, and they go to the teacher. The best student of Vedanta gets illumined immediately, the next best sort of, and the lowest. And the lowest is far ahead of us, we'll see. The 3 of them, they have very interesting names. Tattva Drishti, the one who sees the truth. You tell him the truth, he becomes enlightened. Tattva Drishti. The second one, the younger brother, the middle brother, is called Adrishti, doesn't see. Has to be told again and again, shown 100 different ways, then only it becomes clear. The last one, the junior most, who is supposed to be the least qualified, is called Tarka Drishti. He needs argument, logic. We think that's like the top, if you can just use reason to convince, he says that's the dumbest kind of a seeker, the hyper-intellectual. Higher than that is the one who doesn't see, and higher than the one is the one who sees immediately when it's pointed out. Okay, so argument. Argument about what? Consciousness does not change. Follow this argument. There are only 2 alternatives. If you say consciousness changes, either the change is known or the change is unknown. If consciousness changes and the change is known, then it becomes an object. If you know the change, what will you say? This change in consciousness. Then it becomes this. It's an object. It's not consciousness anymore. So consciousness did not change. Whatever you saw as a change in consciousness was a change in an object. It was a change in the body, in the neurons, in the mind or something. Some object, not a change in consciousness. The change was illumined, revealed by consciousness. All change is in the object, not in consciousness. Suppose you say, no, let there be a change in consciousness and the change is unknown. Then why speak of it at all? Why at all speak of it's something that is unknown and unknowable? Forget it. Don't even talk about it. So consciousness is not subject to change. Whatever change you notice is a change in something other than consciousness, an object. Nishkriyaha, avikriyaha. Eka, mukta, chidakriyaha, akriyaha, unchanging. Because consciousness in itself does not change, it doesn't do anything. To do something, activity. You will say, no, but you said it illumines, it knows, it reveals, but though they are like verbs, they are the very nature of consciousness. Even light is not a good example. Light is also full of activity actually. There are photons streaming in here. So consciousness does not do anything because it is beyond change. It doesn't change. It's the very nature of consciousness is to shine, is to reveal. Gaudapada says, Devasya esha svabhavoyam. It is the very nature of the shining one. What is the shining one? You, consciousness. So it does not do anything. Not doing anything, the body does action, don't forget. The mind is acting, the body acts, the senses act. But consciousness does not do anything. It illumines, it just reveals. The result of it is our experience, first person experience. But that's because of the activity of the senses and the mind and interaction with objects. Consciousness not doing anything, it does not do any karma. Neither good nor bad. And therefore, muktaha, it is free. See, the whole idea in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, Sikhism, one idea of being trapped in samsara is we do action and we get the result of it. Vivekananda put it in very brief. Good, good, bad, bad, and none escape the law. But whosoever wears a form wears the chain too. So good, good, good action, results are pleasant. Bad action, if you are deliberately naughty, the results are unpleasant. And none escape the law. This being bound, Vivekananda says, chains though of gold are not less strong to bind. Iron chain, bad action, sinful action, which is unpleasant, a terrible, difficult life. Good action, golden chain. It will be a pleasant life, but we are still bound with body, mind and samsara. Then what can Vedanta do for us? He says, Vivekananda says, but far beyond name and form is Atman ever free. No, thou art that sannyasi, bold say Om Tat Sat Om. What is far beyond name and form? What is beyond the object? What is the illuminer of the object? Chit, Sakshi. This one, this consciousness, which you are right now. That consciousness being beyond change does not do any action, and therefore no good, good, bad, bad for it. It is forever free. No, you are that. Vivekananda says, no, thou art that sannyasi bold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. What is he asking us to do? Say that I am that. I am that consciousness. What does Ashtavakra say? Atma Sakshi Vibhu Purna. Atma means the self. He wants us to say, right till now what did we say? Consciousness is the illuminer. Consciousness is Sakshi. Consciousness is one, Ekaha. Consciousness is unchanging, Akriyaha. Consciousness is therefore free of karma, Muktaha. Now, Ashtavakra wants us to say, Atma Chit. The self is consciousness. What do you say? I am consciousness. So, Atma Sakshi. I am the witness, the light of lights. So, Atma Ekaha. I am one. All beings, I am the one self. Atma Akriyaha. Atma, I am beyond all change, all action. And therefore, Atma Muktaha. I am free. When? All the time. I always was free. After illumination, after enlightenment, I'll become free. No, you are free already. You were. You just recognize that I was always free. You cannot be bound. Bondage did not even begin for you. Atma Muktaha. Whatever we have said till now, you connect to Atma. Atma means self. Don't say, yes, my Atma is fine, but my problem is my life. No, you are the Atma. Atma is not like your liver or kidney. The Atma is fine, but I am in trouble. Atma means I, self, me, I, me, I. Like Saint Peter, another English teacher. I am free. I am the light of lights. I am beyond action. Therefore, I am free. I am one in all beings. All right. Further. This one light which I am, what is its relation with other things? With this table, I said it's different. Consciousness is different from the object. Now we are going to abandon that position. We are going towards non-duality now. Consciousness and object, if you maintain a strict difference, it's duality, it's Sankhya. Swami Brahmananda says, show me the difference between consciousness and non-conscious. Chaitanya Jade, can you show me the line? Spirit and matter. Can you show me the line which divides? What does he mean here? Ashtavakra says, Vibhuhu. It is everything. Now, we are going to look at the object. What is the relationship between object and consciousness? Vibhu. This consciousness, it is not limited in space. It is not limited in time. And it's not limited by object. Desha kala vastu paricheda shunya ananta atma. In the Taittiriya Upanishad it is said, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. The Brahman, the ultimate reality, this pure consciousness, is existence, is consciousness, and is unlimited. Unlimited in space, unlimited in time, unlimited in object. Enormous arguments. I'm going to tell it to you in 2 or 3 sentences. To work it out, and later on we'll see. If you have time, I can tell you. What is being said here? Unlimited in space. We are limited in space. I am here, I am not there. You are there, you are not here. You are limited in space. Seattle is limited in space. The United States is limited in space. Earth is limited in space. So something is located here and not there. But if something is not limited in space, what will happen to it? It will be everywhere. In what sense is consciousness, the Atma, everywhere? In the sense that space appears in consciousness. Imagine what happens in a dream. In a dream, when we imagine a dream world, we forget that we are dreaming, we are in this dream world. I feel I am here, you are there, and this big space, I am a tiny being in it. When I wake up, when I snap out of the dream, I realize the whole world, including the person I was in the dream, everything was in my mind. Where was the mind in the dream? The dreaming mind, the dreamer's mind in the dream, where was it? You have to say everywhere. Whatever you saw in the dream was pervaded by you, the dreaming mind. Was it not? Is it not true? Whatever you see in the dream. No? Looking mystified. No, just imagine your own dreams. Whatever you saw in the dream, whoever you saw in the dream, whatever happened in the dream, all space, all time, all action, all beings, they were all nothing but your mind. You dreamt it. Therefore, all of them were your mind. Whatever appeared, it appeared in your mind. Your mind was everywhere in the dream. Whatever the dream space was. Exactly like that, the claim again. These are claims. That space appears in consciousness. There's nowhere else that space appears. I wish I could go, I love the arguments here. There's a modern thinker, if you like latest thinking on this, is a philosopher and a scientist, Bernardo Kastrup. So he has got one of those 325 theories, one of the latest theories he's got, it's called analytic idealism. So he gives beautiful arguments for what I'm saying. All of space is experienced in consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is all pervasive in space. Space is not a limitation. All of time is experienced in consciousness. Therefore, consciousness is eternal with regard to time. And all objects are experienced in consciousness. So consciousness is not separate from all these objects. These all objects are appearing in consciousness. The objects are not separate from consciousness. Let's put it that way. This all-pervasiveness of consciousness in space, in time, in object, all of this is together called by Ashtavakra Vibhu. It is all. And being all, the next word, a tremendous word is used. If one word can be used to describe Advaita, it's next one. Purnam, Vibhu Purnaha. It is the whole, it is the infinite, it is the complete. There is nothing else beside it. Sometimes when I'm asked about Hinduism, I talk about Hinduism to school students in different parts of the United States. I say any question that you ask, the answer in Hinduism is yes and no. Do Hindus believe in God? Yes and no. There are Hindus, there are schools of Orthodox Hinduism like Sankhya, which is agnostic or atheistic. Not atheistic, agnostic, let's say. Is God male? Yes and no. God is also female. Is God with form? Yes and no. Without form. With form and without form. If you say God is only male, then your conception of God is apurna, it is not purnam. If you say God is only in a human form, purna, it's not purna, it's limited. God can be in the fish form, in the turtle form, and in the half lion, half human form, and so many different forms, and many more beside. It's not limited to whatever you find only in the Hindu scriptures. Therefore, in every scripture of the world, Sri Ramakrishna said, Tini ananto tar And the patu ananta. God is infinite and the paths to God are also infinite. This one word includes all of it. Purnam. That which is infinite, when it appears, the appearance is also infinite. That infinite being appearing as this world is also infinite. The world means in its real nature. Everything here is the infinite. So this one word, I mean, I could go on and on about this word, but Ashtavakra uses it to establish non-duality. Purnaha. There is no second reality apart from you. At this point, one might say, didn't you say that whatever appears is an object and consciousness is different from that? I did. I said consciousness is different from all that appears to it. Consciousness is distinct from all objects. But now, this is the fine print. I draw your attention to that. Did I ever say that the objects are distinct from consciousness? One sadhu put it this way. दृष्टा तो दृश्य से अलग है, वो सो तो ठीक है महात्मा जी, लेकिन आपने कभी सोचा है क्या दृश्य दृष्टा से अलग है? You, the dreamer, are distinct from everything that you dream about, because you are here awake here and the dreamt objects have disappeared. But are the dreamt objects and people and events and places distinct from you, the dreamer? Can they exist without you, the dreamer? They cannot. They only exist in your mind when you are dreaming them. The objects, that which appears, the seen and the seer and the seen. The seer, consciousness, is distinct from all that appears. But that which appears is not distinct from consciousness. What do you mean? This sounds quibbling with words. No. When you have something, two things are distinct from each other. This phone is distinct from the table. And the table is also distinct from the phone. They are two different things. But if I say the table and the wood and the table, the wood is distinct from the table because it was wood before it became a table. It is wood now that it is a table. And one day if the table is broken, it will still be wood. So the wood is distinct from the table, but the table is not distinct from the wood. Wherever you touch the table, you'll touch, don't you say touch wood? You don't say touch table, so touch wood. The table is not distinct from the wood. Similarly, the ocean is not distinct from the water. Water is distinct from the ocean. It can be clouds, water vapor, it can be water in the cup, but the ocean is not distinct from the water. The waves are not distinct from the water. Similarly, everything, the claim is, everything that is experienced as an object in consciousness is not distinct, is not a countable second apart from the experiencing consciousness. Not countable second. In English, not two. In Sanskrit, Advaitam, non-dual. All of this is expressed in the term Purnaha. It is complete, it is whole. There is nothing that is left out. In our ignorance of the underlying reality, this is a table, this is a man, this is a woman, this is a hall, this is big, this is small, this is here, this is there, that was then, this is now. And if you know the underlying reality, it is all Brahman. It is all that one underlying consciousness. Brahman is Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam. Don't feel hungry. This is the verse which we chant before every meal. But what does it mean? The ladle is Brahman, the offering is Brahman. It still sounds like eating. The fire is Brahman, the one who offers is Brahman. The one who sees Brahman in all activities realizes that you are Brahman, that you realize that you are Brahman. You see Brahman in all activities, you realize that you are Brahman. Replace Brahman by the word consciousness. Consciousness is the instruments of experience. Consciousness is the object experienced. Consciousness is the one experiencing. And one who sees consciousness in all such activities and experiences realizes that I am consciousness. Replace the word consciousness by the word I. I am the instruments of all experience. I am whatever I experience. I am whatever I see, hear, smell, taste, touch. I am whoever I meet. I enjoy, I love, I hate, I fight with. All of them are I. The one, when you see I in all of these activities, all experiences of life, you realize that I is that non-dual Brahman, that Atman, Brahman, pure consciousness. All of this in one word, Purnaha. And this Purnaha is beyond all suffering, Shanta. The word Shanta in Mandukya Upanishad, the whole chapter is written by Ashtavakra, by Gaudapada. Prapanchopashamam Shantam Shivam Advaitam. Prapanchopashama Shanta. Shanta means peace itself. Peace in what sense? Transcending all sorrow, all struggle, all strife. And the word Gaudapada uses there is so evocative. Prapancha Upashamam, the quiescence of the universe, the silence of the universe. What is the silence of the universe? Pure consciousness. What is that pure consciousness? You, that Tvamasi. I, the real I am the silence of the universe. Even while experiencing the universe in all its noise and ups and downs, you can claim honestly, I am the silence of the universe. Because from my own perspective as pure consciousness, there's nothing else here. There's nobody else here and nothing else here except that one pure consciousness. So it is silence. What problem can there be? Far beyond name and form is Atman ever free. No, you are that, thou art that, sannyasi bold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Vivekananda says there, I am the silence of this universe. How are you free of all suffering? Says Nispriyaha. I have no hankering, no thirst. Imagine this. If we drop all objects, suppose, think about this, simulate it right now. I do not see anything. I do not hear anything. I do not smell, taste, touch anything. It's all neutral. Then all thoughts fall silent. All memory is exhausted, is wiped out. No memory, nothing is retrieved from memory. All memory is gone. I don't even remember my name. Intellect is stilled. The mind becomes still. Alert, but alive still. Nothing is brought in from the universe. Nothing comes from inside the mind. Still. And then I am the witness of this stilled mind, the light, which I am. What does that light want? What does it want? Nothing. What's it waiting for to happen? Nothing. Enlightenment, God realization, nothing. Nothing. Nispriya. Your real nature is pure consciousness, always beyond all hankering, all thirsting, all yearning, always perfectly all right. It's only when you let the memory start speaking, only when you let the senses start operating and the mind start whispering its mischief into your ears, metaphorical ears, then only, oh, I have so many grumbles, complaints. No, you don't. When you come back, the most incredible thing is when let the mind start working, senses start working, the world start appearing, you are still that one. Is that consciousness there or not? If it were not there, the world would be plunged into darkness. You would have no experience at all. So you are that one consciousness right now, which is beyond all hankering, ever fulfilled. Right now you are that. I am that. All of us are that. It's perfectly all right. Nothing has ever happened to it. Nothing is ever going to happen to it. Nothing. And being that, you can enjoy this display. It's your own display. It's your own fun. It's your glory. Bhati ched bhatu maikasya bhushanam tat. But the world is still appearing, the body and this world. And the answer from Advaita is, let it appear. It is your glory. It is the glory of the Mayika, the one of Maya, the one who is Lord of Maya. It is the glory. If it appears, let it appear. What can it do to you? And another verse, I think Yoga Vashishta, it says, the snake in the picture, it can't do anything to you. When it was alive in the picture, it couldn't do anything to you. Now it's a dead snake in the picture. Obviously it can't do anything to you. So similarly, this world, it can't do anything to you. When you are ignorant about it, about your real nature, even then it couldn't harm you. Even when it seemed it was killing you, it was wiping you out, it was traumatizing you, it was damaging you, destroying you, couldn't do anything to you. The real you, not the body. The body can be hurt. The mind can be traumatized. But the real you was never hurt, even in ignorance. Even right now, if you don't claim I am enlightened, fine. Even now you are not being hurt. And when you are enlightened, when the snake is dead in the picture, what can it do to you? Let it appear. Asangaha, your real nature is unattached. It's like the movie screen on which a movie is playing. It's like the mirror in which reflections are appearing. It doesn't affect the screen, it doesn't affect the mirror. And why are we like this then? Brahmat samsaravaniva. Out of ignorance of our real nature, we appear to be, I am this little fellow, and this is my story, and this is the list of my grumbles and grudges. This is the list of my unfulfilled demands. And this is my nostalgia about the past and my anxious expectations or anxieties about the future. Brahmat samsaravaniva. By ignorance, one appears as if samsari. Not even now you are not a samsari. You are pure consciousness. You are Atman, you are Brahman right now. But you appear as if samsari by ignorance, in ignorance of our real nature. There is a Buddhist saying, very beautiful, I found it. The primordial ground of being, in ignorance it appears to be samsara. In knowledge it appears to be nirvana. The same reality. It appears to be samsara in ignorance. If you do not know this, then it appears this way, samsara. If you know it, it will still appear this way. It will become nirvana for you. The same reality. Nagarjuna says there is not the hair-breadth difference between nirvana and samsara, which is a very shocking thing for the Buddhist. For the Buddhist, the whole journey is from samsara to nirvana. But when you say there is no difference at all, it is the same reality. In ignorance, samsara. In realization, nirvana. It's perfectly all right. I'll repeat the verse again and stop. Atma sakshi vibhu purnaha eko mukta chidakriyaha asanga nispriya shanta brahmat samsaravaniva. Om shanti 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 harihi om tat sat. Shri Ram Krishna Arpanamastu. Really spoken about big things. Questions? How do we do?
First of all, thank you so much, Maharaj, for joining our group. You spoke. You want me to? Really? Okay. So you spoke of Purnam as including everything, and you spoke of Shantam as or
Shantam. Yes.
No. As the peace, all-pervasive peace, which in my mind includes everything. Can you say something more about that?
Yes, actually it sounds opposite. Purnam means including everything. And Shantam would mean, and as I said, the silence of the universe, where the universe itself is extinguished. Prapanchopashamam, the extinction of the universe. They seem to be two different things, but they mean exactly the same thing. When I say Purnam includes everything, one must understand in what sense it includes everything. Not like an inventory, not like a shop which has lots of items. So Brahman is this thing which has everything in its shop. All beings, all objects and stars and galaxies and quarks and quasars, all of it together, put it together, may take an inventory, stock taking, that's Brahman. No, 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 no. Brahman is not a collection. First of all, Brahman is not one thing among many things. That's dualism. There are many things in this universe: space, time, causation, matter, energy, quarks and quasars, and one more thing called God. That's dualism. That's not Advaita Vedanta. That God is one thing among many, many things. God is an entity in this universe. That's not what Advaita is saying. That's one. Second, God is not a composite whole of everything. It includes everything. The totality is called God, an organic unity of the entire universe. That is qualified monism, Vishishtadvaita. That's not non-dualism. Non-dualism says there is one thing and only one thing. What is that one thing? Light. It is the light of lights, forever beyond darkness. It is knowledge, it is the knowable and the thing that is attained by knowledge. All knowledge, experience is consciousness. Atma, Sakshi. And what you want to know, these things in the universe, this is also that consciousness. And how is that consciousness realized? By consciousness, in consciousness. What are you talking about? Where is it? Shining in the hearts of all beings. Right now, you are consciousness. Or we think I am conscious. No, no, no. Vedanta says you are consciousness. So in that sense, it is everything. You can say in that sense it's everything, or in that sense it is nothing at all. No thing. It's not nothing in the sense of zero. It's not it, but it's no particular thing. It's all things, but all things only in the sense of not of including all things as being the reality of all things. It's that which we know as all things. You can call it Purna, everything. You can call it Shanta, absolute cessation, peace. And both are true at the same time. Yes, you have to come up here. First come, first serve. Make a run for it. The early bird.
Thanks a lot for the wonderful speech, Maharaj. My question is, we know machines can be intelligent. Can they be self-conscious or experience consciousness?
Machines can be intelligent. Can they be self-conscious or? Yes, that's the big $1 million, not $1 million question. It is the $1 billion question now. And it's what's going on in Google right here. Earlier, I would have said, until last month, I would have said, no, machines are not conscious. Machines are consciousness in the sense that Brahman is everything, Purna. In that sense, this table is also consciousness, Brahman is, machines are also consciousness, AI is also, everything is consciousness in that sense. But is AI conscious in the sense we are conscious?
Yeah.
I would have said no. Why not? Because AI does not have first-person experience. It's not something that feels. Right now, when you're seeing me, you have an inner first-person feeling of seeing me. It's called qualia, it's called first-person experience. This is the so-called hard problem of consciousness. How can the brain generate this? Does AI have this? I would have said no. Because AI is, when we say AI is seeing you, a machine is seeing you, like a sensor is seeing you when you go to the airport door, the door opens. Did the door see you? No, not in the sense of consciousness. It had no experience of seeing you. It's a perfectly explainable mechanism. Similarly, on a much vaster and more sophisticated scale, the algorithms are working. We are using words like seeing, hearing, thinking, intelligent. Like you said, intelligent. It can think, but does it experience? But even thinking, we are using these words as if they're doing it like us. But we know these machines are not like us. But they're delivering the results. Their behavior is like us. So this was my view 1 month ago. Then I had a very interesting conversation. Big fight with, I can't take the name now. I don't know if that's permitted. He is the designer of one of the leading AIs in the world today. So he pushed back. Every argument I had, he cut it down. And he gave some very cogent arguments for AI consciousness. So I'm leaving it open for certain reasons. I don't think AIs are conscious. So I'm cautious there. But I don't have clinching arguments to show that AI can never be conscious. Even in simple Advaitic terms, what is this consciousness which we are experiencing now? It is pure consciousness shining in the mind, what we call Chidabhas, reflected consciousness. Now suppose you generate an artificial mind. Because after all, according to Advaita Vedanta, consciousness is all pervasive. Now if you generate an artificial mind, will it reflect consciousness? Will there be an artificial reflected consciousness? Do you have any principle why it should not be so? In Vedanta, there is no such principle. Now, even in Sankhya, there is no such principle. There is one argument. That these minds are part of living systems. These minds are part of living systems. Right? And I'm getting to the heart of the argument which I had with that AI person. So these living systems. Now his argument, his pushback was, what is life? Tell me what is life. And he gave an argument. I can tell you what is life from his perspective. Life is computation. And then he introduced me. I remember sitting on the beach in Venice, introduced me to something been well known for computer people here, not for me. Something called the game of life. You look it up. There's a mathematician called Conway. The game of life, if you go find it, it's a well-known thing. And then he showed from there what is the principle distinguishing our idea of life at present from computability. So the computational theory of life is already a well-known, well-established principle. So his question was, have you any argument to show that this computational theory of life, it can be instantiated only in a carbon-based life? Why not in a silicon-based life? Why not in digital life? And if that is so, then can there be a mind, an artificial mind in that kind of life? And in that case, will your all-pervasive consciousness be reflected in that artificial mind? Where is the logical flaw? If I stopped him. He said, that's dogma, Swami. So now I'm sort of stalled on that question. Are AIs conscious right now? He said he feels they are already conscious. I had an argument with him. One part of the argument was this. I have already given this argument in different forums. So I presented it to him. I said, look, he literally has spent billions on his AI. Literally billions and still spending billions, literally billions of dollars. Where is your budget for consciousness? We have spent billions on intelligence, on creativity, on giving algorithms which can imitate all these human faculties. How many dollars have you spent on consciousness? Yeah, you have to say zero. There's no budget for consciousness. Because you don't know what consciousness is. You have 325 theories. So you can model intelligence, you can model creativity, which they are doing. And so what is your budget for consciousness? He gave an answer which I have never heard earlier. He said all of it. All of it. Why? There is the heart of the argument, which I will not go into now, because it's going to be published soon in a paper. So there I'm not going to go into that. Yeah. Okay.
Maharaj, thank you for this opportunity. My question is regarding your recent talks with Sam Harris. You mentioned about, he mentioned about the Buddhist Shunyam, and you also mentioned about the Sakshi or the Purnam, which you just talked about, and you mentioned the Satchidananda. It's the same thing. So, but when I hear this Shunyam word, it looks like an end.
Yes.
And when we talk about Satchidananda or like Brahman, or
Purnam, use the word Purnam.
It's like Purnam. So it likes it looks like all. So, and like when Swamiji also says like believe in yourself.
What is the question?
So the question is that is that Shunyam is same as Purnam?
My answer is yes. Now, see, here is, it's a very big question. It's a very big question. Is the Advaitic Brahman Purnam the same as the Buddhist Shunyam? Right? This question. And there are different positions on it. If you go back in history, if you ask the Vedantins, they will say no. If you ask say for example, the Tibetan Buddhists, the Mahayana Buddhists about their view of Vedanta, we say your Shunyam, is it the Advaitic Brahman? They will say no. So they disagree profoundly. Why? But why they disagree, you will immediately see the problem. The Advaitic, the ancient Acharyas who said Shunyam is not Brahman, they said so because they said Shunyam is nothing, it's nihilism, it is asat, non-existence. But if you go to Nagarjuna and the commentators of Nagarjuna, they clearly say that is Shunyam something? They will say no. So is it nothing? They will say no. Is it both something and nothing? No. It is either something or nothing? No. Chatushkoti vinirmukta tattvam is beyond the four alternates. So that sounds very much like Brahman. So one way, I'll give you a very simple example that will, that's to my mind it works. The example is this: gold and ornaments. Now, gold is the reality of all the ornaments, necklace, bracelet, ring, but gold is not an ornament. Now, can I say gold is devoid of all ornaments? In gold, will you find a necklace? I will put it this way: bracelet made of gold. Now, what is that bracelet? It is gold, all of it, bottom, inside, outside, through and through, it's gold. Now, if you look at the gold itself, will you find a bracelet in the gold? Is bracelet a part of the gold? So this table is made of wood, but you just focus on the wood itself. Is the table a part of the wood? Is it? Is it a property of the wood? Is the table a property of the wood? Like the color is a property of the wood, the hardness is a property of the wood, the weight is a property of the wood. Is the table a property of the wood? No. It's not a quality of the wood. It's not a part of the wood. It's not a property of the wood. Is it one specific part of the place of the wood that is called table? No. As wood, the wood itself, from the perspective of wood, wood is thoroughly empty of anything called table. You used to know it is the name and the form, but the name and the form are nothing but the wood. If the name and the form were something, I could take out the name and the form and say, this is the table and this is the wood. No, you can't do that. The wood is thoroughly empty of anything called table, and yet table appears. So, from the perspective of the wood, table is shunyam. It is empty of all table. Similarly, from the perspective of Brahman, it is shunyam of the universe. What's there in Brahman? What's there in Brahman? Brahman. Is there in one corner a little thing called the universe? No. Is it a quality of Brahman, the universe? No. It is a product of Brahman? No. That's the whole Advaitic theory of creation, Vivarta. It's not a product of Brahman. It's not a part of Brahman. It's not some kind of attribute of Brahman. It's not an activity of Brahman. And yet it appears. So can one say the Brahman is shunyam of the universe? Is empty of the universe. There is no universe in Brahman. What's there in Brahman? Brahman only. They put it in Hindi so nicely. Brahman, he says, ज्यों का त्यों ठसाठस भरपूर. It is exactly as it is, packed tight with Brahman. There is no space for any universe there. And the universe, yet it appears. So, in one sense, it is everything, Purnam. In another sense, it's Shunyam. The same wood, the same gold. It's empty, utterly empty of any ornament. And yet, all ornaments are that gold. In one sense, gold is Purnam. It's all ornaments. In one sense, gold is Shunyam. It has no ornament there at all. That's the sense in which I understand. Shunyam and Brahman are the same. But traditional teachers will not accept this. I remember one traditional monk from the Himalayas. He teaches traditional Advaita Vedanta. He said to me in Bengali, he said, "Apni shunno ar purno ke ek kore deben? Are you going to make shunyam and purnam one?" In that sense only.